Hello friends, I am Purneshwar Tembule, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Lake Neetam Patil, Waghai, Arts, Commerce and Science College, Lucknow, District, Bhandara. Today, I am going to read the research paper on Indian names in the novel of Mulkraj Anand's Gauri. Introduction. Mulkraj Anand is one of the India's foremost novelists. He was too far removed from reality and the people living in Indian society. Mulkraj Anand endeavored to eradicate Indian literature in English from being called literature of fairy tale and fantasy. He has been consistent in it, writing novels after novels and hereby become the most prolific of all the Indo-Anglian novelists. He was born in Peshawar on December 12, 1905. He was awarded the Most Honorable Sahitya Academy Award in 1971 for his literary works. His father was in British Indian Army. His mother was Ishwar Kaur, who son from Central Punjab received Indian humanity and his understanding from his peasant mother. It is no wonder that in whatever language India writers write novels, themes and ideas no one has been script into their creative and it is no exception with regards to Indian writing in English. One of the peculiar excellences of Indian English literature that is rich with Vedantic through Vedantic thought which has attracted and charmed the West immensely, while the hope of philosophical musing through direct expression is ample in poetic rites. Certainly it is limited in fictions where in the main concern is to present in vivid use pictures of social life, the bright and the dark skinned society, primarily in terms of the plot. Only an able artist like Murugadan or Ankinarayan fit philosophy into his plot in a natural molding it into a real work of art's high caliber. The excellence in the work of Anand and Narayan, two of top ranking Indian English writers, is that they blended the philosophy and common religions. In other words, philosophical ideas are presented in terms of social growth in their knowledge. Shukrajanand adopts English as the medium of the artistic expressions of neurosis is to proper growth in his own way. He employs various methods, techniques, and devices to impart an English identity to his English as an continuing experiment. He bottoms reflects on the tendencies and possibilities of the Indianization of English when the novel first reached India in the late 18th and 19th century. It must have seemed quite strange even to those few educated Indians who could reach English. The strength and maturity of Indian writing in English are beyond picture, and it ought not be necessary at this stage to ask such as questions whether an Indian can write in English without amidst so much with creativity. They are still in the customary tradition, which lies even major talents preferred is that of Indianness. It is still frequently assumed that novel in English by Indian author can be justified. It is Indian in some clear and essential fashions. Thus, novels comes to be valued not so much upon their powers as fictions, as much valued not so much on their contents of their this national quintessence. There are many reasons for the justifying the peculiarity. The Indo-English novel was peculiar Indian speech habits, social conditions, traditional values of life. At the moment of sudden pain, an Indian accept the Christian who live here never cries or cries Christ in but Ram. He, Ram or Allah, Waheguru, there would be nothing more absurd than to depict Indian peasant labor and outcast in the standard British fictions and phraseology. In Anna's pre-independence, that is the first phase characters which all their social, personal, economical, political, and religious problems and linguistic habits seems to be moves and breathing with us. He wrote Contestable in 1935, Cooley 1937, then Abbott 1937, The Village 1938, Across the Black Water 1938, Swan and Skull 1914, Gauri 1916. He is so alive to Indian consciousness, Indian sensibility, and the problem of exploitation of the poor by the rich that the entire local of Indian life is recreated before reader. The major novel of Anand these themes in suggestive terms which chiseled perfections, while in some other of their novels you find these themes on its way to perfection or in its rough and incomplete form, but their approaches to the theme are different. Whereas others admit external events evils of the society, cruelty of man to man, the sprawling stalls, the affects the soul driving in it to strive for the salvation, the views are made our course based on karma Vedanta. The great artist is doubtless expert in his own ways in the handling the chosen approaches to the theme. In Anand's Nami, the theme mainly revolves around a simple central character says a Gauri, Bakha, or a Manu, symbolizes the soul of spirit whom the society exploit and torture, reducing him more and more finally to knights. In the other words, the charges and treat the society as the sole cause for the loss of downtrodden and unprivileged with a conscience equality or premise or this is all the out of the surface or the prey however reveals the talent, didactic motive and symbolic themes. Anand's character grow on the Indian soil and build the Indian culture in all its rusticity as well as if the Mulkra Garden, one of the primitive and establishment Indian writer during the Alliance rules, are our rules or whose native land draw the character from and everyday experiences as they are. Not many authors before him could realize the importance of this notified and sympathy with their private tears and cheers. Further, it is thus obvious that whereas Annas has employed external evil realizations and pure actions as the means of purifying the soul of salvation, life like a dome of many colors glass take the white radiance of eternity until they temperature it is fragrance. There are roots of Indianness in Gauri, then Panchili his uncle, cousins, and many other went from Chota Temple to People Khan 3 mile journey arrived with the ceremonial garland of flowers. Bandsmen were also there for beautiful people were enjoying and dancing with the these fans his pony in somewhat insulted and man Panchilal and perhaps his pride is hurt that he be granted for the marriage. When the people of the bridal party along with the Panchi, they were welcomed by the traditional song of the feminine chorus on the top of the terrace of Lakshmi's house as a part of the deal at the end or which part there will be cries of the girl song. For the marriage Pandit Chota Bholanath asked for the girl Gauri to brought down from the terrace and began to recite his holy words from the Mejwani memory. As the Pandit had taken the second turn around the sacred fire with the girl was tied to him from behind her upon she was only for one inch that when the four turns were finished and the whole embarrassing rituals of the marriage and the customary feast were over, when the marriage ceremony was over, Gauri's friends circled Panchi and started making fun of Panchi. One of the girls who sat arranging little wheels decorated with silvers and gold paper with the bronze plate offered him Gauri's face as red as still covered, however, and Panchi has still to guess the visuals. Panchi's version of Gauri consisted with the first cock drum and while the dholki still beats of the white stain and the police and girls and Lakshmi came in and ceremonial years in her eyes asked the girl to get the daughters ready to go to husband's house and she told her daughter be like Sita when Gauri returned back to Panchi after her surgery. The next morning, Gauri set about putting her house into order. Like all Hindu families, she believed that the absence of women from the house, even for a day, pollution of all cooking utensils and the sacred precincts near the chula. Then we are thinking about Anand is a writer with purpose, social uplift through writing. He has to his credit a corpus of creative novels and Gauri happens to be one of the important feast of uh, Milkha's Anand fiction is the true portrayal of Indian society, a society which is sandwiched between and fractured by so many evils and corruptions such as superstition, untouchability, political affluence, anything, disturbance, merciless persecutions of the Dalit and the rejected, and so on. And Anand is political novelist. She sees his character and their actions in relations to India and after in relations to the world outside India. It is in this that his chief state lies at a time when most Indians nationally thought that the independence will be about the golden age. Anand Sadiq and asserted that political freedom without a change of heart was meaningless. Thank you to listening. Thanks a lot to the organizations of this webinar. Thank you.